Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit matchup to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Welcome to the 9th episode of the Meet the Mancunian podcast. Every week, I aim to introduce you to an interesting Mancunian from this culturally diverse city, Manchester. We will hear from ordinary people making an extraordinary impact. Presented by Deepa Thomas Sutcliffe, Newbie Mancunian. Tune in every week for a new episode. Looking to find your creative community? We hear from Bryan Dunne, founder, Northern Poets Society, in this episode. We're also fortunate that Bryan is sharing his favorite poem with us, so listen in to hear more. I'm delighted to introduce my guest, Bryan Dunne, founder, Northern Poets Society. Thank you, Bryan, for joining me today.
Thank you. Hi, Deepa.
Great to meet you.
You too.
So how did you find your passion for poetry?
I've been doing it for years, but I think the pinpoint I can put down is probably in high school. I had a really good English teacher called Mr. Johnstone, and he just really instilled it in me. He said, if you've got a passion for these things, just do it. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. So yeah, I think it was probably secondary school.
Nice. So it goes way back.
Yeah.
So could you tell listeners about how you actually started the Northern Poets Society?
It was during lockdown, and I just thought, I'd been to a few online poetry readings, and they all seemed to be the same kind of setup where you kind of just listen to other people, and there wasn't really a forum where everyone got the chance to perform. So I just thought, well, there's loads of great poets in the north of England. I'll set this up, and if people want to come, they can come, and if they don't, then I've not lost anything. But it was just really good, and it took off. And so I suppose if you just want to do something, then just do it, and hopefully it'll work. And if not, then just try something else.
I love that. So what inspired you to get involved?
Just being creative. I think if you want to do something, I think we forget. We see people doing things and we think, oh wow, they're really good at doing that. But I always say that the first person that ever did something was always the first person. So someone had never done it before. So if you've never done something before and you think, oh, I can't do it, well, of course you can, because the first person that did everything there was always a first person to do something. It's not like people just knew what to do all the time. And it's the same with this. I think it's just trial and error. And you try things. If they don't work, brilliant. So you just try something else. And if they do work, well, amazing. It's a bonus.
I like that philosophy. So who do you help and support through this Northern Poets Society?
As many people as possible, just poets, spoken word artists, creatives, actors, people who just want to do monologues, but anyone really. If they've got an interest in the creative arts and they want to get the work across, then they're more than happy to come along. They always say to people, you don't have to perform, you can just listen in. You don't have to put your camera on, just listen and enjoy it. And then if it takes you 3 or 4 sessions before you feel you want to share something, then that's fine. And if you never want to share anything, that's fine too. There's no pressure, it's just enjoy it.
Nice. So great. So thanks, Bryan. Tell us about your favorite poem.
So my favourite poem is by Lem Sisse. I really like Lem because he's got an interesting background, and it kind of links in with the work that I do. So I work in Kerr at the minute. I've worked in Kerr for the last 20 years, and Lem Sissay was brought up in the Kerr system. And those who've not read his book about it, it's such a good read. It's only short, but it's really, really, it's powerful stuff. Different time, of course, but it's really good stuff. So he became Chancellor of Manchester University. And when he did, he read this poem out, and it's called Making a Difference. So I'll just read this. It's called Making a Difference. We are shaking and waking and breaking in difference. We are quaking and taking and making a difference. We are working, observing, recording, researching. We're in, we are conferring, subverting, referring. We're counting the minutes, the moments, the loss, redressing the balance, addressing the cost. We are citing and fighting, it's all in the writing. The spark is igniting, in dark we are lightning. We are breaking the brackets, the fact is the planet, in rackets and rackets and rackets in brackets. The systems, the victims, the damning, the scamming, the bias predicting, the beating, the banning. The skills we exchange, the breaking of chains, the action sustained, the makers of change. To relentless census, the damned and defenseless, our words, our actions, the louder reaction. When no one is listening, we hear. When heads turn away, we volunteer. We work, we stand tall, we rise up to be counted. We climb mountains, we're shaking and waking and breaking in difference. We are quaking and taking and making a difference.
That's amazing. I just love it. Tell us more about why it moved you. Why did this poem become your favorite?
I think Lem did it in a way. I think Lem did it to influence people that when they go to university that they are making a difference, they can make a difference. But that's not how I take it. I take it in everyday life. Like, you can make a difference, like, no matter what. Like, I think there's a quote and it says, if you think you're too small to make a difference, sleep in a bedroom with a mosquito. And it's like, so obviously you can make a difference. It's just how much you want to do it, really. And yeah, I really, like I said, I really like Lem Sissay's story. And I like how calm he is when he speaks. Yeah, he's really nice. Yeah.
That's really moving. Thank you so much for sharing it with Meet the Mancunian. And Meet the Mancunian is also trying to make a little difference in its own way by celebrating
I'm sure it
people
will.
like you. So that's fantastic. What impact would you say you've made so far through the Northern Poets Society?
I suppose we've had a good reach with poets in general, like from as far north as Russia, and then we've had Scotland, the whole of the northeast of England, Manchester, Liverpool, and just with the sessions. So we've had the monthly sessions online. I think I've had about a year's worth of monthly sessions online now, where the average attendance is around 15 to 20. And then off the back of that, I've just set up, which is Saturday the 18th of December, the first live Northern Poets Society reading, which will be at Clitheroe Castle, and there'll be live poets performing. I think I've got eight poets guaranteed at the minute. So yeah, it'll be great to see some live faces and actual performing in front of people.
I love it. Tell us about you've got another in-person event coming up soon, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've got a few things in the pipeline. There's going to be a live event at Clitheroe Castle mid-April. So I think in the Saturday before Easter Sunday it's going to be. And then in July, I'm putting on an exhibition. There's an art gallery at the train station in Bolton. So I'm putting on an exhibition of poets' works, framing the work, and then they're going to select an artist that they know or they've heard of to do a piece of art to go with the poetry. And that'll run from the second week in July all the way through July. And midway through it, I'll have a live performance by all the poets who've volunteered the work. So yeah, interesting times.
Very interesting. I'd love to come to both events.
Yeah, definitely, Deepa. You're more than welcome.
Yeah, that does sound fascinating. And the idea of art and poetry, it seems like a really good mix, and
Yeah.
very creative as well. So, how can interested people reach out to you and learn more?
So on Twitter, the handle, well, just type in Northern Poet Society on Twitter or Instagram and it'll come up. But on Twitter, the handle is at Poets Northern. And on Instagram, it's at Northern Poet Society. But if you just type in Northern Poet Society, it'll come up with it. You find it.
Nice. And what advice would you have for people looking to start something similar in their own community, maybe in another part of the world?
Just do it. Like honestly, if you're interested in something, like I said before, the the first person who ever started something was the first person. So if you think, oh well, I can't do it, you can. Like just do it. What I mean, the worst that can happen is it doesn't take off, and just brush yourself down and get on with it.
Like that. So I'm now moving to my signature questions, which I'm trying to ask all my podcast guests. What is it that you love the most about Manchester?
For me, it's not like the ordinary. It's like the council estates, the little pockets that are unchanged, and the feel of the place, and little red brick terraces and back streets and alleys. I like that type of. I'm not a big fan of town. I think it's become too. I don't know. It doesn't feel real. It feels a bit phony at times. But the back streets and the council estates, I think I just love that. I'd happily just walk around there every day and take pictures around there rather than the city centre, where I think it's a bit too fake, if that makes sense.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion on it. Where's your favorite place in Manchester?
Heaton Park. Yeah, I love Heaton Park. I could walk around there for hours. I don't love it when there's the concerts on and things, but when it's just, I love it. Although I have been bit by a squirrel and by a horse while in Heaton Park, so yeah.
You've got to tell us about that.
I was feeding a squirrel and I was saying to someone, oh, if you just hold the nuts on your hand, they just take them out. And I was trying to get this other person to do it by showing them. And while I was doing it, the squirrel just took a chunk out of my finger and it ran off and sat on a post, and it was just chewing on the skin that it bit off.
Wow. We feed squirrels too, but yeah. So what's the most important life lesson that you've learned?
I suppose it's just be nice to people, really. But not just be nice for the sake of it, just be nice just because it's nice to be nice. I mean, I'm not saying if people are horrible to you, don't just let them walk all over you. But at the same time, you don't know who that other person is. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know anything about them. So just be nice, and be nice until you don't need to be nice, or they give you a reason not to be nice. But when they give you that reason, just walk away. But yeah, just be nice to people, like, especially now more than ever. Like, yeah.
I think people have gone through, like you said, a really hard times and doesn't always show. And
Yeah, definitely.
nice to appreciate that. If someone wrote a book on your life, what would they call it?
Not this guy.
Sorry, say that again, please.
Not this guy. I think just because I'm constantly just murdering people, like if I've got an idea, I'll think, oh, just put this forward and see what they think. And I think people just like, oh, it's him again. It's him again. It's him. But then if you don't ask, you don't get. Like when I put this event on at Clitheroe Castle, I just sent the council an email and said, I do poetry sessions. Can I come and use the castle to put a poetry session on? And they were like, well, can we meet with you and do it? So I went and met with them, and then they were like, yeah. And it was literally that easy. But before that, I'd had 20 no's. But it's just keep asking, and then eventually someone will say yeah.
I just love your philosophy. Obviously, you have boundless energy, and that's fantastic. Is there anything you'd like to add today, Bryan?
No, nothing really to add. Really, just other than obviously Manchester's a special place and it's full of special people. And I think sometimes it's easy to forget that, and just because everyone's so caught up in what they're doing. But yeah, just be nice and smile at people. They'll smile back.
I love that. And I must say, people are very friendly around where I am.
Oh, yeah.
It is nice to be in a big city which still has a warm heart.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you so much, Bryan, for taking time to talk to me on the podcast. And I'm sure my listeners would love to maybe listen in on your next session, or maybe even visit one of the in-person sessions.
Yeah, they're more than welcome. Yeah, thank you, Deepa. It's been brilliant.